Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to A Whole Woman. I'm your hostess, Anika, and on this brand new podcast, I'll be highlighting a series of everyday topics primarily affecting females. So, essentially, together we are addressing the matters of the mind, body, and soul so we can bloom and learn to become whole. And for today's episode, we're just going to dive into a piece dedicated to the topic, which is favorite girl. So let's get right into it.
I've lost interest in trying to fit in, to stay thin, to have expensive things, to get the ring, to have them comprehend that my value is worth more than just accomplishments. I'm human first, and here is where it all begins. Okay, so for today's topic, it's titled Favorite Girl. And I'm sure that probably after hearing that poem piece and after hearing the title, you're thinking this is going to be like a love episode. This is about probably unrequited love, being the other woman, trying to be pursued even. And whereas, as I stated, this topic, this episode is about relationships, it's not necessarily romantic relationships. But before I even dive further, I just want to say that I'm sure that many of us have been in situations, have been in circles where we feel like we're doing the right thing. We show up for people who never show up for us. We say the right things. We have the good characteristics. We seem, quote unquote, to be the perfect or even the ideal friend or the ideal companion in multiple situations, but yet still it seems as if you're never chosen. It seems as if for some reason, even though you're giving your all and it's clear that you're giving your all, the person you're giving your all to does not seem to appreciate it, does not seem to appreciate it nor you. And the title Favorite Girl is actually ironic. Um, when it is that I have completed my anthology, I'll be sure to reference back to the full poem piece so that persons can understand the context further. But I wanted to highlight the first few lines because it emphasized the frustration that one feels after for striving for normalcy or striving to fit into places, having like you're doing what you can do best in terms of looking the part, in terms of following what is expected for you to follow, especially as a young woman. You're expected to marry, you're expected to keep in shape, and you're doing the best that you can. But just the same, it's like you're not getting there. It's like you're not reaching the pinnacle that society has set out for you. But before society, I want to talk about how it is that we oftentimes feel overlooked or yet underappreciated actually in relationships, particularly friendships. So, first and foremost, I just want to say that for myself, what I've realized as the years go by is that I tend to be a people pleaser. I am a people pleaser through and through. I will literally try my very best, especially if it is someone that I like. I will try my very best to ensure that this person is okay, that this person knows that I am available, that if this person says to me, let's go to Mars, I'm ready to go to Mars with them. And I know you're probably like, is your love language acts of service? No, it's not. It's actually quality time. But I feel the thing about quality time, like when you're spending quality time, it encompasses all the other four love languages. Like you're going to be saying sweet words, which is the words of affirmation. You're going to be um, doing physical touch, like a hug there, a high five there, a fist bump somewhere, like you're going to be exchanging things, gift giving, like I feel as if even I don't know if I just said it, like words of affirmation, like I feel spending quality time is oftentimes underrated. And for myself, I know that that is something that I cherish a lot. Don't get me wrong, I can fully, wholeheartedly appreciate all of the other love languages because right after quality time, there is words of affirmation for myself. But I know for a fact that I still love a good hug. I still love when it is that I get presents, and I can appreciate all of the love languages, but I know that those two, those are those are the things that I essentially need. That's how I know that I am loved. I know that love is spelled one way, which is LOVE, of course, but I feel as if, well, I know for a fact that as we grow older, as we advance more, and as we get into more relationships, we're realizing that there are certain things that us as individuals need from our partners and even our friends or acquaintances. We all need to be appreciated, or we all need to know that some way that might not necessarily be the way that the person you're expecting it from is familiar with. It might not be meaning what you are hoping to get from the person is not necessarily something that they're familiar with, because we're all programmed differently. We've all come from different backgrounds, unique settings, and therefore the way how love was taught to us, like for example in Caribbean households, persons don't necessarily tend to say I love you that much, and whereas some people are like, oh, that's trauma. You do have some people who say, even though the words weren't said to me, I know that by the actions, I know that by um person showing up, like I could see that the love was there. So yes, we all crave, we all need different ways in which love is quote unquote presented to us. But essentially, all in all, love is still love. And with that being said, when it comes on to friendship, so as I was saying, I'm a people pleaser. I'm somebody that will literally wear my heart on my sleeve. I tend to find out that I am actually an overachiever in friendships. I also I also have realized that I take relationships, not just love relationships, but friendships, I take it very, very seriously. And as a result, there has been many differences, like many conflicts that have arose as a result of that, as a result of how I show my love, as a result of what I expect from others. And I honestly, when I was thinking about this topic, I was just thinking about the fact that how how long can you really say to a person, this is how you need to be loved? Like, how often can you tell someone, whether it be your friend, whether it be your spouse, whether it be a parent, a family member, even a colleague, how long can you say to them, this is what I appreciate, this is what I like, this is what I need, and they don't reciprocate that? Like, is it a matter of them simply not knowing how to do it, or them simply not caring? No, I just want to highlight the fact that initially I was thinking of presenting on the attachment styles. You know, you have avoidant, you have anxious, you have secure. Um, if I'm missing a few, I'm so sorry. You can Google it. But yes, there. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them. So these attachment styles reflect the way that you handle relationships, how you handle yourself. They can show up in so many. They show up in your professional life. They show up in your personal life. But I said to myself, it's more than that. I think that when it is that we're talking about reciprocating love, or reciprocating that how should I say, reciprocating the need that someone else is displaying to you, it's either of two things. Because if you love someone, whether it be a friend, whether it be, as I stated, a spouse, whether it be a friend or whether it be like a partner, if you love them, you're going to try to please them. And this is not me telling people that, oh my gosh, you need to have your friend and you need to have your spouse, and you're going to do what you do for your spouse, for your friend. This is me essentially speaking to people who love hard and who get little to no love in return. Like, how long are you going to say to people, this is what I need, this is what I want, and how exactly can you work around it? How can you move past it? How can it be improved? Or better yet, how can you realize that people are just not you? Now, for myself, it took me a very long time to come to the understanding that the things that I would do for people, they would not do for me. The time that I would spend, the words that I would say, like, not everybody is going to do it. And as I stated, I think although love languages and although it's so important to even know the type of attachment style that you have, especially when you're realizing that there are patterns in your relationships, I've also come to the reality of the fact that there are some people who would rather to capitalize on what you have to give than to meet you in the middle. Meaning, even if you say to yourself, oh, I'm an anxious person, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a bad friend. And even if you say you have a secure attachment style, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good friend. And you may know your love language, your friend may know your love language, but knowledge is nothing if not applied. So, what I'm trying to say is that there are some people who know what it is that you're looking for. They know the type of person you are, but because of what you've already presented to themselves, what you've already presented to them, they say, okay, I'm just going to ride on the coattails of this love, of this flow that you've already presented. And if you want to stay, you stay. If not, whatever. So I've been in cases where persons have said to me, you are too much in the sense of what you expect, what you react about, it is too much for me. And I've also been in multiple situations where I know that I'm the number one friend. Like, I'm coming from a good enough background in the sense of morals, not necessarily monetary wise. I have ambition. I have a good person. Of course, I'm not here to tell you that I'm perfect, but these are things that have been said to me time and time again. Like, you have morals. You're coming from a good enough family in terms of how you were raised. You have a future ahead of you. You are a funny person. You're someone good to be around. But yet, you're the last to be called in important events. Yet, you are oftentimes left feeling as if it weren't for history, or if it weren't for the fact that you make the friendship look good, it's almost as if there's nothing beyond the surface. Like, it's just a surface level at times. Like, if you're not doing it, then it's not progressing. Like, I've realized that you can have all of the qualities. You can be doing what is expected. Like, I was literally looking at myself recently and I said to myself, I've literally met every single one of my friends' parents. I've met practically all of my coworkers' parents, not out of coincidence, but simply because they think that I have a good character, that I have good characteristics. You're the one to bring home to the family. And as I stated, I'm not talking about relationships here. Even though I could even touch on that because it's the same there. But I mean in the sense of having platonic relationships where persons will literally say to you, you are the standard, yet still, even though you have these characteristics, you have these traits that can be appreciated, when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you look to your left, you look to your right, and there's nobody there. Yet, in other situations, in circumstances where persons are celebrating, or persons are having the time of their lives, or persons are at their lowest, they draw for you in the lowest. But when they're having the time of their life, it's someone else in the corner. But yet still, remember, you're still number one. You're number one in terms of what you represent, but you're not number one in terms of being the favorite. Like, you're not the favorite girl. You're actually, you have all that it takes to become so, but you have been rejected. Like, you're dotting all of the I's, you're crossing all of the T's, but it's either you're a Mary Sue, which really and truly you aren't. This is just you. Like, I've realized in life that there are just some persons who love hard, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member. Like, there are just some persons who will literally go to the ends of the earth. Of course, nobody asks them to go, but what I'm trying to say is, what happens when you're going to the end of the earth and then you finally say to the persons around you, I'm tired, I need to rest now. And they come and they say to you, where is this coming from? My people pleasers, like myself, people will literally have the time of their lives with you, taking control in terms of, you know, bending over backwards, doing what is needed to be done for them to ensure that they have benefited. And when it is that you've gotten an epiphany, when it is that you've realized that this might just be unrequited, when it is that you've realized that other people in other situations, they're not going through what you're going through, and you say to the persons, or you even say to yourself, this is weird, this is awkward, it's time for me to go. And then you're confronted with things like, where is this coming from? I never knew you felt like this. How exactly do you approach these situations? Is it a case where you really have to give the benefit of the doubt to say, you never asked me to, like, this person never asked me to do this for them. This person never told me that this is how they are like. I just took it upon myself to be this huge ball of sunshine, this huge ball of happiness, like you initiated full on this type of relationship. You were the force, like you were the how should I say, you were the person, you were the initiator. Is it a case where you give them grace to say realistically they never asked you for anything? Or do you open up your mind, open up your heart, and say to yourself, it's time for me to really and truly move on? Well, in all honesty, as I stated, as I thought about it, I've realized that you can give grace where grace is needed because nobody is perfect. There is no friendship that I think that has surpassed years that is worth giving up on without sufficient proof, without actual facts to say that this person is like wicked, this person, like, you don't just walk away from history without having a good reason. I think that in cases where persons misunderstand what it is that you're looking for, of course, you can always say to them, you know, let's work this out, let's talk this out. It's not that I don't appreciate you, but I myself have been feeling underappreciated. And as I stated, this is in cases where the persons have no clue, because I've realized that many people suffer in silence. Like, I was like that. I'm still like that. I'm passive aggressive. I'll wait until something builds up. I'll wait until somebody steps on me a few times, and then I'm like, this is the third time you've stepped on me. Not because I'm keeping track, but I have this naivety where I believe that everyone has my best interest. Everyone is roses and sunshine and sprinkles. Like, nobody is inherently evil. Like, that's something that I had to wake up and realize that. Of course, yes, people might not necessarily be evil, but not everybody is good. So how exactly do you move on from that, for that kind of situation? Well, if it's a case where whoever you're speaking with is willing to, I don't want to say change, because the reality is this. You're over here and you're probably saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of being ill-treated. I'm so tired of friends that don't check for me. I'm so tired of this partner that I've been slaving over a hot stove for. And you approach them, you confront them with your feelings, and they have no idea what you're talking about. They say you're overreacting, they say it's too much, your feelings are too much, your personality is too much, it's always something with you. What do you do then? Honestly, sometimes all you can do is just let it play out by itself. When you've realized that there is something amiss, you let it play out. Especially if it's a case where you have been over it before, you let time do the talking. Now, I'm not saying that you should still approach your situation with passiveness, but how much longer are you going to constantly go around in circles telling people how to love you, how to treat you? Sometimes you have to let it go. Sometimes you have to leave it alone. The reality is, if you stop calling a few people, if you stop texting a few people, you would be surprised of how dry your phone is. You'd be surprised at how these people that you would have loved to know that, yes, they're going to reach out to you now because you're always the one doing this. They're not going to do it. But remember now, you have the truth. You've now realized that things are not what it seemed. Things are not what you had hoped for. So sometimes you just have to let it slide, and you have to just reassure yourself that in the future to come, you deserve equality. So many people are like, oh my gosh, I like low maintenance friendships, or I like friendships where I don't hear from people for years and months, and then we see each other and then everything goes back to normal. Let me tell you something. If it is that you are a high maintenance friend with a low maintenance friend, it makes no sense. You can't be saying one thing and the other person is saying the next. If both of you are fine with the situation, of course, then by all means proceed. But there is no way you can be over here yearning, pining, or always reaching out, always checking in, always popping up. And then the person is over there like, oh, yes, I have a friend. If I call her, no, she's available. And they're not doing it for you. The reality is, in this life, you have to understand that reciprocating, it is not bad. It's not a matter of even tit for tat. It's just how long are you going to have people utilize you for their own benefit? Because it's only one person in this case that is benefiting a relationship in all aspects, friendship, love ship, any type of shape. It's two people on board with a similar destination in mind. Whether it is that you're going to be party friends, whether it is that you're going to be work friends, there is a similar destination. It's either we're just going to laugh at work and then go home. It's either we're just going to go to the club, and people, I do not club or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it's either we're going to go to the club and then that's it, or it's either we're going to understand that, yes, we do live our own lives, but I don't have a problem if once a week you check in on me. Like 6 months, 3 months, what? We're not friends, we're associates. That's how I see it. But that's for me. But as I stated, if you are okay with that and that has been established, fine. But this is for my emotional babies like myself that are saying to themselves, I've always done it right. I've done it right in love. I've done it right in friendships. I've done it right with even, I don't know, strangers, because sometimes you might find yourself bonding with someone you had no idea you could possibly bond with. Like like that's just you. They're just some persons who have not necessarily even introverted personalities, but they're just some persons who are empathetic, who feel more, and they oftentimes are left feeling as if they're too much. They're too much of this, they're too little of that. You're not chill enough. You're not this enough. You're misunderstood. If you say something, it's going to start a war. It's going to start some argument. The reality is, we should always be open-minded to hear other person's side of the stories. It should not be. It should not always be about how we feel. Like, you can't be okay. Then I'm empathetic and I cry at everything, so everyone around me is going to be the same. However, if they know you're empathetic and they have never extended grace to you to say, I know you like this, or I know this is how you work, like, meet me where I'm at. How is it that you are giving them what they need? Remember, capitalizing on your presence, on everything that you do, whether you're a gift giver, buying what's the word? So I can't say it. Swarovski. You're buying diamonds and Swarovski crystals, right? They didn't ask, but you're still taking it and they're telling everyone about it. And then when it's your time, it's your birthday, you get nothing. And no, people, bear in mind, it's not about it for that, but the reality is if you see someone loving you a type of way, if you see someone always showering you with kind words, there's a huge possibility that's because that's how they express themselves. So if you're not receptive enough, if you're not human enough to say, oh, I see you're always doing this to me, let me do it for you. Or let me try to ensure that you're comforted as well. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I could be wrong in all honesty, but the reality is I know many people feel like this. I know many people feel like, where did I go wrong? Why am I never invited? Why is it that I'm looking at the photograph while I'm at home? Why is it that you told me that I was a good person, I was a good friend, but yet still I'm not the friend next to you right now? Why is it that in my big moments it's just me, small me, but in your big moments it's yourself, me, and everyone else. Sometimes, of course, I fully wholeheartedly believe that selflessness is something that not many people have. It's beautiful. Like it's something that can change people's perspective. It's something that can allow people to stop and say, whoa, what kind of heart do you really have? But selflessness is not an excuse for people's selfishness. And I feel if you have reached a point where, as I stated, you've said all you need to say, you've spoken about it multiple times, you're realizing you're still excluded, you're still feeling as if you can't fit in no matter what, no matter how you do all that is needed to be done, no matter how the bowl looks good on you, no matter how they say, oh, you're the perfect this, you're the perfect that, they're still treating you like an option. Sometimes you just have to walk away. You have to realize that you have to choose yourself. And once it is that you start to choose yourself, whether it is that you're anxious, whether it is that you're a physical touch or whatever, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on in terms of love language or in terms of attachment styles, but once it is that you realize you have to choose yourself first and foremost in order to get the respect that you need in relationships, in friendships, I think that is when we really truly start to prosper. So now, with that being said, remember, friendships are beautiful. Not everyone is the same. Everyone loves different. Nothing is wrong with talking to people and telling them, okay, this is what I need. This is how I see life. This is what I relate to. But how often are you going to say the same thing, especially if it's affecting you? It's one thing if you come to a mutual understanding about who you are, who the other person is. It's another thing when they know who you are, you're working with who they say they are, but yet still you're still feeling empty. Remember, fill your cup before you fill others. And this is not about being selfish. It's about understanding that even if they don't think that you're the favorite girl for them, you need to be the favorite girl for yourself. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. And remember to check me out on all platforms, on Instagram, which is Nika Jam, on TikTok, which is Nika Jam. Follow my blog page if you need more content. And until next time, this is Nika Jam, aka Sonika.